It's Friday at Petroma Therapy. Today we're going to be talking about a Lebanese American poet whose name is Gibran Kahlil Gibran, and he's usually referred to just as Kahlil Gibran. He was a poet and a visual artist, and he was born in Lebanon, 1883, and he died in New York City, 1931. Guess what he died of? Can you guess what he died of? How did he die?
Oh, are you there? Sorry, I forgot. I pressed button again. My fault.
Okay, well, I could start over again. It
No, no,
is,
no, 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 no. I hate it. I like it when we don't start all over again because I liked our introduction and I given you my reply like 4 minutes long and I thought, why didn't you just say something? I just looked at the bottom and it wasn't mute. Sorry.
well, very
But yeah, I was
good.
gonna say that he probably died because he got married and then he died a year later.
No, his cause
No,
of
okay.
death was tuberculosis. He got TB, and he died in New York City. But New York's, I don't know, I wouldn't want to die in New York City. I'd rather die in Texas. Well, let's move on to a more positive note. Some of the books he wrote are called The Prophet, Broken Wings, The Madman, The Earth Gods. I think these are titles that our subscribers can relate to. I'm very curious about the book called The Madman. I have read some of the poems in the book called The Prophet. It's just a collection of poems.
How'd you come across it?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I've read a lot of literature and I've been reading since I was about 5 years old. So probably when I was about 13 years old, I came across his poetry because it was very rich in imagery and it was very romantic and it was talking about the impossibility of love and what would ever happen if you found someone to love. And it's kind of like the Rubaiyat, by Omar Khayyam, a loaf of bread, a jug of wine, and thou. I mean, when I was a teenager, that's what I wanted: a loaf of bread, a jug of wine, and you. Thou means you.
Yeah, I know
So,
what thou means. It's, don't
well, I
get
mean,
religious on me. Yeah.
I'm just talking to our audience. But I guess I had read him off and on, and then I was in Dallas. They had these little wooden boxes that are in some yards on a stick, and they're called the free library. So you can like roll up there and open the little box that's protected, and you can put in a couple books and take out a couple books. So it's not a formal building; it's just a casual way of sharing books. So what I like to do is I like to go to some of the more wealthy parts of town that have like a lot of books that are put into those little boxes, and then I take some of them out and I go over to another part of town where they don't have so many books, and I switch them out, and I put, like, instead of beat up rained on books, I put some really good books in the other parts of town. So I'm kind of like Robin Hood. You like steal from the rich and give to the poor. But
Mm-hmm.
I was pilfering through a box and I saw some books and I saw this one called The Prophet. I thought, oh, that's very nice. And it said, with newly discovered writings. And I thought, wait a minute, I thought I'd read everything that Kahlil Gibran wrote. And it turned out that the translator of the foremost translator of Kahlil Gibran, when she passed away, her son was going through all her papers and stuff and found many, many poems that she had not yet translated into English. So this book that I have has some of the I'm not going to say lost, if they were just like untranslated poems.
What language was it originally written on?
Lebanese. Lebanese
For a
language.
minute, I thought it could be Turkish, but I
No,
don't
no, it's
know.
actually written. It's. I think it. Well, I'm not sure if he was writing it in Arabic or not, but well, he was born in Lebanon, so you know.
Okay. No,
So
I'm curious who would have translated and from what language, because that means a lot. But even in English, it definitely brings some kind of Arabic kind of style, and yeah,
yes.
it goes great. Whoever translated that.
Well, yeah, the imagery in Arabic art, gardens are very important. Roses, fountains, mountains, drinking, eating, laying around on carpets. Uh, well, he's also considered to be a philosopher, and he kind of mixes Christian philosophy with existentialism, and he was influenced by Middle Eastern philosophy as he was growing up. This would be a man I would love to get with. You know how I like Eric Clapton, and you like what's her name? The not Ashley Judd. What is her name? Who's
Who?
Tina Fey? No, what is
I
the
don't
girl
know.
you like?
Why'd
What's
you
her
bring
name?
it up?
No, we're just talking about like celebrities.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I asked you once. I mean, who? Oh, it's from the movie. It's from the Fight Club. He said, "Who would you want to fight?" I mean, if celebrities, okay? You said dead or alive. You said anyway. I said Tina Fey, and you
Oh
said
yeah.
Ernest Hemingway, whatever. You would have probably chosen Khalil Gibran.
Well, no, I would like to. I like Stevie Ray Vaughan. He's like one of my ultimate men. He's like a guitar player from Dallas, Texas. He's a blues player. Well, that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of men I like to fight. No, so Khalil Gibran, he wrote about different topics, and his themes are universal. He writes about children, about being a parent, about the meaning of life. What happens when you lose something that you treasured? And I don't know. I didn't even remember how great he was, but now I remember because I'm in therapy.
I didn't even
What?
know he existed a minute ago. Now I love him.
See, that's how life is. It's so interesting how we have been talking about the extremes because both you and I individually, we're either like really high, like, kind of life is so amazing. This is such a great writer. Like, man, I really like this Hemingway story. Or we're like down in the dumps. Like, I wonder if we should keep on going. Like, should we continue writing drop and roll? Or like, my life sucks. So we hope that those people who are our subscribers, will make a, one or two comments, not too many comments, but tell us what you think about what we're talking about.
There is no such thing as too many comments.
Yes,
I
there
love when
are.
someone.
There
Huh?
are too many
No, there
comments.
isn't. No, I mean, when somebody commented on your post, that means he's involved and interested. He's invested. You're very welcome. I mean, I would say that to whomever makes
Well,
such
I'm just
comments.
saying that some people have contacted me and they say that what's up with so many posts and whatever. Okay, well, so anyhow,
Yeah,
back
you're
to
lucky
Kahlil.
because no one's contacted me. Okay, go
Yeah,
on.
because you asked me to make all the comments. No one's contacting you because you are in a building far away. People know where I am. They know I live near the lake. They're coming to Austin. People have suggested meeting up in a hotel in Dallas. Like, you are not having problems. I'm having problems.
Yeah. Me, I
Well,
mean,
okay.
I have lots of problems too. That's why I'm trying to cure them all, and that's why we set up this channel. But they seem to be multiplying. I mean,
Our
I'm not gonna
problems. Yeah, no,
like
I
there is no
agree.
tomorrow. I each what?
I know, I agree. Like, we felt pretty bad when we started the channel because it was, like around the pandemic. But we thought, well, maybe we could just talk about what it feels to be isolated or to be working from home, or what could we do about the fact that we can't touch our face, and like, are we ever going to get a haircut, and like, why do we feel so crazy? So, we started off feeling pretty bad, but then we started taking on topics like, what's the meaning of life, and why is Sisyphus rolling the rock up the hill, and like, will the pandemic ever be over? Like, what is true? And like, should we keep drinking? Maybe we should eat more ice cream. Like, we went from like relatively, kind of sort of depressing neutral topics to like really serious topics. Like, we made an episode about nothing, and then we made an episode about anything, and then we made an episode everything you know is wrong. I even know a couple people that left petroma therapy because they said that they feel better now. They're doing other things.
There's no such people. You made them up.
No, I told you about this certain person. I'm not going to give his initials, but it's MS too. Okay, so some of the other topics of Kahlil Gibran are about love, about marriage, about ambition, about defeat, my solitude, my aloofness, marriage, loss. This guy is all over. I have my laptop open. He's got one on joy and sorrow. Oh my God, listen to this one. Are you ready?
No, tell
Put your,
me what he wrote on marriage. You mentioned that.
yeah, I'm going to go back to that. I got to do this one.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of them. Like, we can't read like 300 poems. Okay, this one's called On Joy and Sorrow. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy and your sorrow rise or fall. Wow.
That's it? That's it?
Well, that's all I wanted to read.
I mean, why? It's a fragment,
What?
right? Because
Not a
somehow
fragment.
spoke to you.
No, I just thought that that's true, that our emotions rise and fall. And we want to be happy, but we can't always be happy. We always want to be joyful. We can't always be joyful. Like, joy and sorrow, kind of come and go.
It's like I described 2 days before the situation I find myself in. Or maybe not me, just we all have that sort of things going on. So basically we want the joy, not the sorrow. We want the happiness, but there's always something else. And it's like the idea of paradise where everything is forever joyful, perfect. You don't need that because you have to have that balance between like scales, between good and evil. And while there is attraction, that means you're alive. If there is no attraction, if you're full of joy or you're full of sorrow, that means something's off. And that's why he saw that when you're empty, you at standstill and balanced, right?
Yeah, I think so. I found this poem on marriage. Let me read just a little bit. I have not specifically read this one before. So he takes on this persona. Mitra spoke again. And what about marriage? Now here's the answer. You were born together, and together you shall be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. You shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of heaven dance between you. That's the first stanza.
Well, that's even better than Tolstoy in his Anna Karenina.
And shorter.
The guy says right away that you will be together when the white wings of death scatter your days.
It's
Right?
beautiful.
And Tolstoy started his book with every happy family is own. Every happy family is happy in its own way, I guess. And every unhappy family. Oh, I don't remember what Tolstoy wrote. Go figure.
And look, this
Oh,
Kahlil Gibran is so much shorter. It's not 927 pages. He's just got like 12 lines. This guy was an economist. I mean, economy of words. Here's the next stanza of the marriage poem. And like I said, I've never read this specific one before, but I'm just reading it for the first time now.
I remember the. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was the Tolstoy thing. I thought that I recalled what he wrote, how he started his Anna Karenina book. Like happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. It's very much similar to what you've just read on marriage from Kahlil Gibran. It's you shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. I like that. Tolstoy should have written that too.
That is like that. That makes me feel really like it's a transcendent feeling. Like it's, to me, it's not exactly joy. It's like just what a fabulous line.
Well,
wow.
That makes me jealous. That makes me jealous because there are people who can be together until death do them part, as they have that in a marriage vow. I don't know such people. I mean, maybe one I heard of, but not personally know. Maybe one or two couples. But here's the ideal we all strive to.
But I think when people get married or they live together or do a common law marriage, means you don't sign the paper. Yeah. I'm just saying it to our subscribers who may not be familiar with Texas, but I'm just saying you start off with the best of hopes. You start off thinking like, this is the most amazing person in the world. I want to be with this person forever. And then, about 3 years into the marriage, it's like, I cannot believe this person is making me crazy. And then there's this expression called the 7-year itch, which means after year 7, you're thinking like, should I continue or should I like look around and see what else is out there? And in marriage, like there's individual development, like Freud writes about it, Erik Erikson writes about it. They write about individual development from, childhood to adolescence to et cetera. But also in marriage, there are marriage counselors and therapists that have written about the stages of marriage. And this idea of the 7-year itch is something that, Roseanne Cash was the daughter of Johnny Cash, and she's got a song about that. I love that song. I had, with my first husband, we lived together a couple of years, then we finally got married. So I was in year like 6.5 of that marriage when I heard that song. And then we went to Europe for the summer. That's why I decided to divorce him. So, I just know that the 7-year itch is real. It's not just something people make up. But I do admire people that stay together. I don't know why or how they do it. But, well, let me read the next stanza.
Is it from the same poem?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Marriage? So you're going, okay, in marriage.
Okay, so we did the first one, love one another, but make not a bond, blah. Okay. Oh, no, here's the second one. Okay, I'm already on the second one. So the first one has that really great line about, you shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. So now here's the second stanza.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music.
No,
Wow.
this poem, it really does drop lots of truth bombs today. Because
Yes.
if you and somebody, your spouse, call them husband or significant other, I don't know, whatever, if you together all the time, there is no space, like he says, leave yourself some space, and that becomes awful. And this guy, he understood that 200 years ago.
Yeah. And also,
Let each
I
your,
like,
you said,
yeah, go ahead.
let each one of you be alone. Not you said, but you read it and he said it, right?
Yes. And also, they say absence makes the heart grow fond. So, like, if you go away for a weekend or your wife goes off with her family or her girlfriends or something, and then you finally get back together, on Monday or Tuesday, it's like, she looks pretty good. But when she was leaving, it's like, God, I'm so glad to be rid of her. I mean, the other in that stanza I read, he talks about a lute, which is a kind of guitar. It's a Middle Eastern sort of instrument, or like a oud, ud,
Mm-hmm.
oud. Like the strings of a guitar are separate strings, but strummed together, they make a beautiful melody. So
Mm-hmm.
Gibran's specific words are even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music.
Yeah, I like
I told,
that
yeah, this
poem.
is
I think
this.
why wouldn't anybody put this poem and make music out of it? Because these words are, I think they would have made great fun out of this poem.
Well, you can do that. You have thought
Yeah, but
about
I
doing
need a
it with.
melody, maybe, yeah.
Well,
But then I thought that probably the wisdom, I mean, this probably very venerated by Eastern society. And if I make music out of it, which sounds like some kind of a pop
you
music,
can
or
do
I don't know,
whatever you
R&B,
want.
they would be, what?
No, you can do whatever
Is
you
it
want. There's a lot of
really?
people that do. I guess they call them covers of famous songs. So Bob Dylan wrote "All Along the Watchtower," but I love Jimi Hendrix's version of "All Along the Watchtower," and each one of them is really quite beautiful. And even until today, there are people making covers of "All Along the Watchtower." So I think it would be really great for you to give yourself permission just to experiment. If you don't share it on Patroma Therapy, that's fine. But like, just sit at your keyboard and like tinker around. Or
Yeah, maybe I will. It just
here's
came.
the
You said
yeah.
Watchtower. I remember there was a song on the River of Babylon, and I just recently found out that that's their line from the Bible, on the
Yes.
River of
Oh,
Babylon. Who
yes.
song? Was it Bon Jovi? I don't remember who.
Oh
Which
yeah,
band
yeah, yeah.
played it
No,
on
yeah,
the
I
River
know
of
that's yeah.
Babylon? Wasn't ABBA, was it? No.
I'm not sure.
Well, that was very famous 20 years ago. Who sang on the River of Babylon? Let me just
I'm going to read the
refresh my
last
memory.
stanza, which has some more trees growing along a river, which is connected. This is the third stanza from Gibran's poem on marriage.
Boney M. That was Boney M. On the River of Babylon. I mean, lyrics.
Okay, I'm
I
going
don't
to
know if
play
you
it.
know.
I'm going to pull it up on the laptop. Here's the last stanza.
Okay. On
Give your
marriage, right?
heart the way on marriage. Yeah, we're still on
Mm-hmm.
marriage. Give
Yeah.
your hearts, but not into each other's keeping, for only the hand of life can contain your hearts, and stand together, yet not too near together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow.
Yeah, you go deep on that.
That's beautiful. I know all over the Middle East, cypress trees are planted in cemeteries in Turkey, in Lebanon, in Syria. And if you go to a cemetery in some of these countries, the cypress tree, he's Lebanese, so because I know a tiny bit about that culture, I know that the cypress tree could be a metaphor for death, and the oak tree, for me, would be a symbol of life because it's so strong and it makes little baby acorns. So, life and death stand together, yet not in each other's shadow. Wow.
I'm surprised. This is the first time I read a poem which says, you be close but not too close. The idea.
Yes, I really like
the main idea which he gives us is you love each other, that's fine, but not get too close to each other because that will kill you both.
Yes, and I have there's two young couples that I know here in Dallas that'll probably be getting married in the fall. I'm going to go ahead and I like to write, so I'm going to maybe, not calligraphy, but maybe make them a card. You're
gonna give them this poem? Are you sure that's gonna be a good idea? Because you understand it, me understand it, because we've been through it, we've been around. But the newlyweds, they idealize the relationship, and if you tell them, guys, that's not gonna be like, you're not gonna be the happy couple.
No, this will be perfect. This one couple, she gave her kidney to her brother. She lives in Dallas. Her family lives in Houston. I used to live in Houston, and her brother needed a kidney, and she gave her kidney to her brother. And then, she goes by Barbie. I think she's one of our subscribers. I think you've seen her picture. She works in the design district, and she works in the showroom. But her guy is Ken Bear. Ken is just such a wonderful person. He's just a really great person, and they just announced their engagement about 2-3 weeks ago. And these are the kind of people that would just like getting a handmade card. Like, maybe they'll just put it in their scrapbook of their wedding and read it 10 years later. But I'm saying this one specific couple has announced their engagement, and they would like a handmade card because they're like, they like shoot pool and they like work out and they are very family oriented. They're just such a great couple. I'm going to do this. And then this other couple have not announced their engagement, but they are also. She is the daughter of a professional pool shark, and she's dating this really great guy who has a sports car and has taken her to the different vacations to drink wine in the wine country. And like, I don't know, these I'm going to do that anyhow. What a great poem. And you might like tinker around with this. What is the song I'm looking up? What's it called? By the Rivers of Babylon?
Bonnie M. I'm not sure if you know this band. I don't know if it's American or not. Is it American? Yeah, and they had this song on the River of Babylon. I didn't know that it was taken from the Bible. I guess the whole text is taken from the Bible. The song is great.
Well, also he has a song called Rasputin.
Who?
Boney M.
Is it he? Because I thought that was two Afro-American women. No.
Okay, no. Well, I've got it pulled up here. Let me just read this. What we're talking about is Psalm 137. So King James Version of the Bible, Psalm 137 goes like this. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept, and we remembered Zion. We hung our harps upon the willows in the midst, et cetera, et cetera. So that is the scripture. Now here is the song by Boney M. This is the official link. I hope we don't have an advertisement about beer or something when I turn it on. Oh, it's about a miracle child who has cancer. Okay, let me just. Let me make it just a little bit louder. Yeah, I think it's a sailboat.
Yeah, that's it. That is it. I remember when I was young, it was 30 years ago, that was very popular. Here goes our copyright strike.
So in the video, they are doing what is it called when you hold it's like island music, and two people are holding a pole, and you try to go under the pole without falling. And
How low can you go?
Yeah, and there's all these people dancing on the beach and the rivers. Yeah, I kind of remember that.
You don't remember that song from the 70s? Because I remember I went to school that was very popular. I was 80s, beginning of 80s, I guess. And there was many good songs written by them. Sunny, I remember that Sunny or something else. Yeah, that.
Yeah.
When I get home,
Yeah.
I start YouTube and see if I can find them. Yeah, it brings back memories. It brings me back in time. Go figure. All this music. Maybe I'll try to do music with Kahlil, Gibran, Thoughts on Marriage.
I think so. That what a great day. Thanks for making this episode together. We might actually be getting better ourselves. No, I really love this.
And by we, you mean you?
No, I mean
I think
me
I'm
and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Me and Stevie Ray Vaughan. No.
Yeah.
No, I have.
I regret. I digress. If I say what's that meaning of digress? I spoke to a gentleman yesterday, and he said some kind of nonsense, and he said I digress. I don't know what that meant, but probably that meant that he takes his words back, right?
Yeah, something like that. Walt Whitman, who was another poet that we've talked about off and on. Some people accused him of contradicting himself. So there's some different famous quotes by Walt Whitman. And one of his famous quotes is, "If I contradict myself, so I contradict myself."
Yeah, also, who said that if you don't have a sense of humor, that's not even funny? Was it Walt Whitman?
That's a good one. I like that. I really, really like that. That's great. I really like that.
Okay, that wraps up. No?
Yeah.
Okay, go on. No. Tell me what you think.
I was going to say I wanted to end our episode with a little tiny bit of Hendrix's song, "All Along the Watchtower." And as I play it, I hope it won't start off with like a hearing aid advertisement.
Is it from Forrest Gump? I mean, the song.
It was, oh my gosh, they have breast cancer. Okay, let me get to the song.
Oh, I love that one. It's when Forrest Gump gets into Vietnam for the first time with Boba.
Is it too loud?
No, that's fine. I love that song.
There must be some kind of way out of here. Say that joker to the thief. There's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. Businessman there, to drink my wine. Barman, take my herb. No, it will level on the line. Nobody up in this world. Hey.
So have a great weekend.
Fine. Yep, you too.